Good morning, everyone. Welcome to LisaBug Mind Body Blend. We're in the month of January 2024, and our objective is to work isometric strength training to help with blood pressure or hypertension. So there's been some studies out recently that have said that there's specific exercises that they studied, for instance, a plank, a wall sit, and a grip strength exercise where they held it for 2 solid minutes. So we're going to be working on some techniques to ramp it up. By the end of the month, we'll be holding our exercises for that 2-minute time period. What you're going to need is a selection of hand weights, a chair for balance, because a lot of what we do today will involve balancing. And we'll begin with our Tai Chi today. So what I'd like for you to do is come to what we call a mid stance position. So it's not that really wide Wu Chi, but our legs are a little bit wider than hips distance apart. And I'd just like for you to start to shift your body weight from one foot to the other, and you're just lifting up your heel of the leg that you're moving away from. So a lot about Tai Chi is to change our center of gravity and then to have our body adjust to that. So it helps us to fire our core and it helps us to work on our balance. And then I just want you to bring your hands right in front of your body and start to shift the hands across. And with your Tai Chi, usually I don't instruct for you when to breathe, when to inhale and exhale. So just come to a nice normal breath flow, whatever feels good for your body here. Now, if you'd like to try to work on a little bit more balance, as you shift over to one foot, you can actually pick up the other foot just for a second. Just pick it up off the ground, maybe about an inch or so. And my toes are slightly turned out just a little bit, and we can start to add a little bit of spinal rotation with this. And you can keep your gaze forward if you want while you're twisting, that's okay, or you can turn your head from side to side as well, perhaps even following your fingertips. Now, next time we come over to the right side, I want you to hold here. And then you're just going to shift back, lifting up your front toes, and forward, pushing away. You can come off that back heel. And I'm kind of making a circular movement with my arms, and you'll notice that when I pull my hands toward my body, my wrists are slightly flexing. And I'm just not forcing that. I'm almost just letting gravity pull my fingers down. And then I'm pushing away with the heel of the hand. We're pulling the toes up. So we're working on a little bit of a stretch in the calf and the hamstring of that front foot. And we're also firing the shin. So let's do one more. Pull it back, press it forward, and then simply trace your hands across to the other direction. We'll stay on this side. Make sure you've turned your feet. And then we'll draw in. Now you might want to bend your back knee a little bit more than what I'm doing. So that's my surgical knee, and I'm kind of, I don't know, the quad is still struggling, firing a little bit through that range of motion. So I'm not bending my knee a whole bunch. That nice circular movement. Good posture here. And then what I want to do is put these two movements together. So let's do one more here. Draw back and press. And then bring your hands across to the other side. Adjust your feet. Pull back and press. Bring it across. So each time I'm shifting my body weight, and then you have to pick up your foot just a little bit here to turn. And you can go slower than I am. Make this your own pace. Let's do two more to each side. We're drawing back from the right. Sliding it across. and the left. Ooh, this is really good for my surgical knee. I can feel that quad responding to that movement and that knee bend in the back. Let's do one more on this left side. And then just drag it to the center and lower your hands down. Inhale, left arm reaches, take a side bend over. You can press on your hip or you can push the hands, separating two different forces. From underneath, I'm pushing across. From above, I'm pushing across the head. And then lower that one down. Lift the right arm, either hand to hip or press two forces across. And breathing, really opening up those side ribs. And then release it down. Excellent. Hopefully the body's feeling invigorated, a little bit warmer as we begin our strength training. So I'm going to come to the chair. What I would like for you to do is pick up one hand weight that you can do a bicep curl, and you're going to place that weight in your right hand. And if you have your weights close by, if it gets too much, you can always make a quick switch. And let's bring our feet to parallel. So they're about hips distance apart here, my feet straight ahead. And I'm just using this chair for balance. And as you releve up onto the toes, do a bicep curl, hammer style, and then come on down. So we'll rise and fall. Now, our maximum contraction for our calves is when we are all the way up on the toes, but our maximum contraction for our bicep is maybe about 2/3 of the way up or even halfway. So I want you to start to reduce the range of motion on your bicep curl. Because sometimes when we come all the way up, we lose the workload, if that makes sense, because we kind of lose gravity. So make this about 3/4 for that bicep curl. All right, so I want you to bring it up. We're holding this 45 seconds here. So we're way up on the tiptoes. We feel that contraction in the bicep. We have really good posture. Now from time to time, if you want to work balance here, maybe just take one little finger on that chair or even let it go and see if you can balance. Now, 45 seconds, your body's saying that's too much. Then you come down whenever you'd like. And I'll let you know we have 15 seconds to go. So we're working our calves isometrically as well as that right bicep muscle. Shoulders pressed down. 3, 2, and 1, and relax. Great job. Switch your weight over to your left hand. You can shake that right arm out a little. We're going to change the position of our feet to first position. So this is ballet position 1. Heels together, toes turned out. Zip up your inner thighs. As you releve up, hammer curl on this left arm. Good job. Way up on the toes. If you can, keep your heels together. Squeeze your glute. You're coming up as high as you can with your range of motion. And then let's adjust the arm range of motion so you feel a maximum workload in that bicep. Exhaling as you come up. Taking a look at the clock here. We have about 8 seconds to hold. And then we'll be holding 45. Get ready. Bring it up. And isometric. Good. So isometric means no change in length of the muscle. It's same length. So we're working the muscle, but we're not changing the length of it. We're not contracting it and shortening. We're not lengthening. Important here to remember to breathe. And we have 15 seconds. See if you can squeeze your inner thighs and glutes a little bit more. Pull your abs in tight. And we have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax it down. Great job. Let's set that heavy weight down for a moment. And we'll stretch our calves. Hands can be on the chair. Step your right foot back. Press your heel down. Bend your front knee and lengthen that muscle. And then we're going to take the right hand, open it out with your thumb up or thumb down. And I want you to notice how that stretches your bicep. So either one. Your chest stays forward. So we're not turning our body. We're just pulling the arm back. All right, bring that hand back to the chair. Switch your feet. Step back left. Make sure your foot is in parallel to give you maximum stretch for your calf. I'm going to move away from the wall a little bit. Then take the left hand, bring it back. Keep your shoulders squared forward and either thumb up or thumb down to stretch your bicep. Now, the wall sit is one of those major exercises that they studied. If you don't have a wall accessible to do the wall sit, then you can just hold a squat. So I'm going to show both options. What I want you to do is take a hold of a weight that you can do a shoulder raise and pick a weight that you can probably do it for 45 seconds. And that can be pretty challenging. So I'm going all the way down to my 3s. I think these are 3s, yes. So we are going to do the isotonic movement first, which means we're going ahead and moving down and up. Let's take our thumb side of the hands up and we'll sit into a squat as we bring the arms forward. Now you can also do this without any weights. If you have some shoulder issues, then no worries here as we go down and up. Good. So I have my little wall right behind me. So when I get to that 45-second hold, I'm just going to back up and slide down the wall. If you don't want to do that, then when we do the 45-second hold, you're just going to drop it down wherever you want into your squat, and that's where you're going to hold. So we have 10 seconds to get ready for our wall sit. All right, if you're coming to the wall with me, back up. Slide down any amount, bring the arms forward, and hold. 45 seconds. So our goal here on the wall sit is to get about to 90 degrees, but it's not wrong if you don't go down all the way to 90. If you're, protecting your knees as I am, I'm not going down to 90, but I'm pretty close getting down there. If the arms tire out before the legs, then bring your arms down, or maybe pull the elbows in and do a bicep curl. Breathe, breathe, breathe. We're almost there. 10 seconds. Good job. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring yourself all the way up. Roll those shoulders a couple times. Great job. Now I want to do that one twice, but with a different arm movement. So now we're going to take the arms out to about a 45 degrees. So I'm not directly to the side of my body. I'm not directly to the front. I want you to split the distance, sit down into your squat, bring those arms out. It's like a V shape, and then pull it in. Take it out. So this time, instead of backing up to the wall, I'm going to go ahead and show the squat version when we get to that 45-second wall sit. So watch your range of motion here. I usually try to come up just a little bit under the height of the shoulder. And not that this would be really bad, but sometimes with shoulder issues, if we come up too high, we can cause some shoulder rotator cuff impingement. Okay, get ready for our 45-second hold. Either back up to the wall or come on down and remain still. Now, if during that 45-second hold you say, oh, I need to just come up a little to make it a little longer, that's okay. You don't have to keep the bend exactly the same. We just want to keep the resistance on the muscle group. If the arms, same thing. You can bring them down a little bit if you need a little bit of a break there. Okay, we have 15 seconds. Good job, everybody. Are your knees tracking over the center of your feet? Breathing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come up. Good. Roll those shoulders up, back, and down. Nicely done. Okay, we're going to have the chance to balance again. Standing on one foot, I want you to pick a weight that you can press from your shoulder up any amount. If any type of overhead press is contraindicated for you, you can do the upright row. We'll be right in here. So let's pick up that single weight you want to use for that exercise into your right hand. And we are going to stand on the left foot. I usually mirror you, so I'm going to do it this way. So right hand standing on the left foot, your right knee comes up. This is our single leg stance. So we're either pulling up into an upright row or we're pressing this any amount above the head. All right, let's begin our isotonic movement, which we're going ahead and changing the length of the muscle. Now we can push this all the way up, sure. But sometimes when you come all the way up, you're not really feeling work in the muscle anymore because you kind of unloaded the muscle. So I like to actually do this exercise maybe a half to 3/4 of the way up because I feel the work. So that's going to be where you hold the isometric contraction. 10 seconds and then get ready to hold for 45. Ready? Bring it up where you feel that contraction. Hold steady. Now maybe let go of your chair. It's a little easier to balance when you're not moving your arm up and down. Keep your abs engaged and breathing. You can always tap that chair when you need to. And again, if 45 seconds is too much today, then bring it on down. We have 15 seconds to go. And man, I'm feeling my standing leg, my left leg, which is my surgical leg. It's really working here. Almost there. We have 5, 4, 3, 2, and bring it down. Whew, nicely done. All right, pass that weight over to your left hand. If you need to adjust your resistance, maybe that's an arm that has a surgery or whatever, take a second to adjust. Okay, let's bring our left leg up to that single leg stance. Bring the right arm either doing an upright row or an overhead press. And then let's begin. Take it up any amount. And certainly you could do these without any weight if you're working on rehabbing your shoulder and you're just thinking, range of motion is something very important. So you can do this with no workload or just something very small. A little can of soup. Well, hello, Treacle. Is it time to do kitty exercise today? All right. Oh, it's time to hold. All right, let's find it. 45 seconds. Isn't it amazing all the things we're working on right now here? Balance is huge if you're trying to let go of the chair. And as we worked on last year, balance helps so much with our overall longevity, health, and well-being. We've got the isometric contraction going on in the tricep. We have 15 seconds. And in the shoulder, if you're doing the upright row, you've got the shoulder and the bicep and the upper trapezius. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and come down. All right, nicely done. Let's switch back to the right hand, and your exercise will either be an upright row or a side arm raise. And I want you to say, wow, could I hold this out there for 45 seconds? Nah, with a 5-pounder, that's not going to be doable. So I'm going to go down to a 3. So in the right hand, feet in first position. The same leg of the arm that you're moving is going to abduct. So exercise number 1 for the shoulder is here, or you can do a bent arm lateral raise or a straight arm lateral raise. And I've got the chair there if I need it, but I want you guys to work on your balance. Now try to notice that I'm not moving my torso much at all. So what I don't want you to do is a teeter-totter, because then that means you're actually moving the hip that's on the floor. I want you to move the hip that's off the floor. Okay, it's time to hold for 45. So we're right there. Arm can be bent or straight. We just want to keep it a little lower than the shoulder. Tighten your outer thigh, that hip abduction. If you need this hand to come out to help you with balance, you can do that as well, or place it right there on the chair. Ooh, this is intense in my surgical leg because it does not normally support my body this much. This is good. This is really good. We have 15 seconds. Shoulder and hip isometric, core working, and we're breathing. 5, 4, 3, 2, and come on down. Great job. All right, roll that shoulder out a little bit. You can move your chair or you can turn around, whatever you're using for balance there. Come to first position, toes turned out. Choose the exercise you're doing with your left arm, and then we'll abduct the hip and abduct the shoulder. Good job. Now make sure that when you're lifting that arm side, that your shoulder blade is not elevating. So we want to keep the lats engaged right underneath the armpit. Oh, I'm not going to be able to see my clock from here. So I'm going to keep going, but turn back around. Hopefully I can use the wall for balance here. Okay, we have 5 seconds, then we're going to hold. Okay, hold it. Breathe. Tighten your core. Shoulder blade down. Lengthen through the crown of your head. Try not to drop your chin. Activate that. Whoop, I pulled the door open. Oh, here, keep going. It's funny how my quote good leg, my balance is not as good. We're almost there, guys. 10 seconds. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and bring it down. Excellent. Roll those shoulders up, back, and down. Okay, we need 2 weights, something that you can hold your arm up to the back with a tricep kickback. So both hands at the same time here. I'm going to keep doing my 3s. So what we're going to do is be basically doing an isometric squat through this whole exercise. So I want you to squat down, hips are back, bring your elbows up. Holding this position will straighten and bend for our tricep kickback. So really look at your posture here. You are in a good squat. What I don't want you to do is bend over from the waist and be doing it here. So keep that chest up, but your upper body's on a little bit of an angle. The shoulder doesn't move. Okay, we have 10 seconds and then we'll be holding this with the arms as straight as you can get them. If they're a little bit bent, that's okay. Ready? And hold. Now we are isometrically working the tricep, but also the back of the shoulder. We're isometrically working our quads and our glutes and our core. So a lot going on here. If you're starting to get tired, you can just take a quick little break, bring it down, and then come back up. And keep breathing. Shoulder blades are down. Also, if you need to take a break, you can just bend your elbows and keep your elbows up. This is okay too. 15 seconds. Whoa, this one is hard. Almost there. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down and stand up. Roll the shoulders. Great work. Okay, I'm going to give you the option to do that one more time, or another tricep exercise, which is an overhead tricep extension. So if this hurts your shoulders to have your arms up, you're going to do the one we did before one more time. So if you need to adjust your weights, what I like about this one is you can also just hold one weight into both hands when you're doing this overhead tricep exercise. So let's bring the arm back and extend it up. Now, if you want to work on balance here a little bit as you straighten your arm, lift off your heels and come up into a little bit of a calf raise. If you're doing the other one, you're in your squat. Now, about halfway, right about there in the tricep exercise is your maximum load. So when we hold for 45, you'll have your elbows bent about 90 degrees. Okay, so find that right now. Hold here, and we've got 45 seconds. Now maybe you're going to lift your heels up off the floor too for 45 and work your balance. If that's too much, I can hear some of you laughing. Yeah, right. That's okay. Just work on what you can here. Good job, good job. And 15 seconds. Wow. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And bring it in. Set that weight down. All right, let's take a couple of stretches for the upper body and also for the hip. So what I want you to do is take your right foot, cross it behind your left, or put them right in a tandem stance position. So this hip is the one we're stretching. This arm is the one we're stretching. We're going to take that arm up, push with this hand to the hip, and then try to touch the back of your neck. You can also add this hand to give yourself a pull and push out into that right hip, stretching the right tricep. Keep your chin forward. Also working a little bit of balance here in a tandem position. And come on up. Release it down. Great job. Let's switch the position of our feet. My toes are turned out a little bit. In ballet, I'm in 5th or 3rd position, for those of you that remember that one. All right, let's take it over. Push out into this left hip. Try to touch the back of your neck. So we're stretching our tricep here. Option to add the arm to give you a little passive assist. And today I am sporting my new Mickey Mouse shirt. Yep, Dave and I went to Epcot yesterday. We did some shopping at the Character Outlet for some bargains. All right, and come up and release it down. Okay, so last week we did some sideline work for the rotator cuff, and Linda added some clamshells. So guess what? We're all going to do that today. Linda's work from last week. So whatever you need to come down onto your side, I'm going to bring down my little blanket for me to maybe support my head. You need a weight for your rotator cuff. So maybe have a couple close by just in case you need to switch to something else. So I'm going to start with my right arm first, but whatever you guys want to do, if you're facing me, that might be your left. That's okay. We'll get both of them done. So in clamshell, we have our knees bent about 90 degrees. In clamshell, the feet stay together. The top leg just opens. You can do this up on your shoulder. We can come all the way down to our elbow. And then take the weight that you're going to use for the rotator cuff. I'm feeling like I need a 3 today. Okay, so we have the elbow bent about 90 degrees. If you want to place a little hand towel underneath your elbow, you can do that as well. We want to make sure the elbow doesn't come up, so we're keeping it stationary. As we rotate up with the rotator cuff, we're going to peel the knees apart, but your feet are not going to separate. So this is like you're coming into a little butterfly. And also, if we go back like this, we can get our leg up higher, right? But we're not going to rock back. So my range of motion is not very much here in the clamshell. Now notice that your maximum work for the rotator cuff is maybe about mid-range or a little bit higher up. So as we're doing these isotonically, kind of notice where you feel most of the workload. And then get ready to hold 45 now. So what I want you to do, several things. Push your feet together harder. Oh, that feels different. And then really tighten your outer hip. Try not to flex your wrist down or up. Keep it in a nice straight line. And if you want to squeeze your hand weight, you can get that grip strength isometric as well. 15 seconds. Good job, everybody. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release it down. Great job. Set your weight down. What we're going to do is extend this top leg out. You can also extend your bottom leg almost to straight as well. You're going to use this hand to support you as you roll over a little bit towards your belly, and we're going to lift the leg back behind us, leading with the heel. So we lift and lower, and we're tightening the back glute, that gluteus maximus, and whatever range of motion feels good for you. I have my ankle flexed, but you can also point your toe. And let's hold it up. 45 seconds. No change in length. Isometric, same length. Good job. You can support your forehead here. Try to relax everything except for that glute. Good job. And breathing. 15 seconds. If the leg is dropping down a little, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up over it. That's fine. It's still working. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press yourself back up. And then this top leg is going to come over. Put either your foot on the floor or your knee and straighten the bottom leg out. So the bottom leg is going to lift up off the floor and come down. And you might be only able to lift it a couple inches. That's okay. My foot is shaking. That's the surgical leg. My foot is saying, oh, we haven't done this exercise. That is pretty hilarious. All right, get ready. 45 seconds. Hold it up. And I think my foot is going to shake for 45 seconds. I'm just going to let it and not worry about it, because it's not a bad thing. It's just those little, what are they called? Motor units. My motor units are confused. Oh, I think it's stopping. Good. All right, they're figuring it out. Keep it up, keep it up. Inner thigh, this is adduction, adduction. This is an opposing work to that side leg raise we did when we were balancing. Okay, looking for 15 seconds. Good job, good job. Abs engaged. 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax it down. Great job. All right, I'll give you guys time to get over to the other side. I know I need time as well. Getting around on the floor has been a new learning experience for me. Okay, so we need the weight you used for your rotator cuff. If you need to switch, because this is a different arm with different issues, be sure to do that. We'll start with the knees about 90 degrees. Remember, your feet stay together as you rotate up. And then find your position so you're comfortable. Elbow bent about 90 degrees. Keep it in close to your waist. And then we'll clamshell as we do our rotator cuff exercise. Now I'm doing these pretty slowly today, and I'm looking at the clock. I'm not counting reps, so you might not be doing the same exact number that I'm doing, and that's okay. If you need to take a quick break before you do the isometric, feel free to do that as well, because we're actually preloading the muscle doing the isotonic work before we do the isometric. All right, let's do one more of these. Then find your maximum workload and we'll hold. And then we'll think about those things we did before. Try to push your feet in towards each other. So imagine you have a big sponge between your feet and you're pushing and squeezing water out of the sponge. Keep the knee up. Make sure your wrist isn't flexing. Keep it straight. And then if you want to squeeze your hand weight, add your grip strength. Good job. And we have coming up to 15 seconds remaining. Tighten that gluteal muscle. That's the external rotating muscle group of the hip. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it down. Nice. Okay, so this top leg extended out straight. Bottom leg extends out nearly straight as well. This top hand is going to guide your body forward, so you're rotating your hip. Lift that leg up and to the back and down. Now I have my leg almost all the way straight, but you can do this with a bent knee as well. We're looking at firing that glute. You can support your forehead here. And we have 10 seconds to lift and hold. All right, bring it up and stay. Now, if this is hurting your lower back, lower the leg down a little more, because the more we lift our leg, or the higher we lift our leg, you're going to get more stretch right here in your hip flexor. When you stretch your hip flexor, it can pull on your lumbar spine. So I don't want you to feel like you have any strain in your lower back here with this exercise. Coming up to 15 seconds left. Make sure your core is engaged so it doesn't just let your back arch in the lumbar spine. 5, 4, 3, 2, and lower it down. Great. Press yourself back up to where your hips are stacked. Bring this top leg forward. Come on, knee bend. Sometimes it takes me a second to get it going. You can put your foot on the ground. You can let your knee drop down. I'll see if that feels comfortable for me. And then this underside leg lifts and lowers. Lift and lower. Good. And again, maybe it's just going to come off an inch from the floor. That's okay. We're just squeezing and releasing. Squeezing and releasing. Okay, let's bring it up and hold for 45. We're up. We're breathing. Good job. And this foot is not shaking. That felt so weird. It was just uncontrollable shaking. I think those muscles that haven't been working for nearly 4 months since my surgery are kind of coming back online. 15 seconds, guys. Keep breathing. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax down. Okay, from here, just roll over onto your back and we'll move into our hip bridging. If you need support for the back of your head, try to keep your head in a neutral position. And then we're going to bend our knees as much as feels comfortable for you. My left knee is pretty tight right there. I'm going to keep it there and see how we go. Feet are parallel, right at your sitting bones distance apart. Ooh, before we go, let's combine this with arms. So I know we're all down and ready to go, but if you come up, find a weight that you can do a chest press with. Yes, I want to do one more arm exercise with these bridges. And I'm getting the big guns out here, my 10s. So before we get up in our bridge, we're going to do our chest press in a parallel position, bringing our elbows down to tap the floor and pressing up about shoulders width apart. Now let's go ahead and add our bridge with that. So as we press up, lift the hips up off the floor and come down. Now, when we come up with the glutes, that's our maximum contraction, but it's not with our arms. So when our arms are up all the way, it's not our maximum contraction. It's about at the halfway mark. But let's do a few more like this, and then we're going to adjust where our arms are. Okay, come all the way up with your hips, and then bring your elbows down some till you feel this work. Not touching your elbows to the floor, because then you're resting. So maybe about halfway, and we have 45 seconds. So hips are up, glutes are working. Shoulders and triceps are working. And we're breathing, core engaged. Job. You have about 20 seconds. Press down into your feet, nice and solid, all 4 corners of the feet. And 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, come down with everything and rest. So I'm going to keep one of my weights. And what I want you to do is a pull over. So if you take the weight directly up from your shoulders, keeping your arms straight, you'll reach those arms and pull back up. Now, if this bothers your shoulders, I always love to give you an option. If this bothers your shoulders, then I want you to do a skull crusher. So you're going to keep your upper arm still and do a tricep extension. So now that you have the upper body exercise, level 1 for the lower body is your left foot will stay on the floor, your right leg will be up, and as the arm either bends or goes over your head, you're going to extend that right leg out and in. Level 2, your left knee will be up in tabletop. Out and in. So the arms and the leg are going away from each other, and our goal is to keep our core really tight. Okay, 10 seconds, and then we'll find our isometric position. Okay, take the arm and the leg away to whatever position you feel is your maximum workload, and let's hold. Ooh, this is challenging with 10 pounds for my arms here. So I might bring it up a little more. So I want to be able to make it through those 45 seconds. Now I want you to try to compress your low back down into the mat a little more. If your low back is hurting here and you even have the level 1 position, go ahead and put both feet on the ground and do a pelvic tilt and just work that upper body. 10 seconds. Oh boy, it's going to be hard when we get to the other side. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set the feet down. Bring the weight in. So we're going to do a stretch before we switch sides because our upper body probably needs a break. So let's do our figure 4 stretch by taking this right ankle, cross it over the left thigh, and then bring your knees up toward you. Nice hip stretch. Goal is twofold: to get our stretch done for the hip, but also to rest our arms a little bit so we can do this on the other side. Now, if that was a little challenging, you can grab a lighter weight when you do the second set. It's a form of drop setting. So we continue to do the work, but we go down in resistance. Okay, let's get ready for the other side. I'm ready if you are. So find your weight. Now you can change the exercise and do the other one. So if you did the pullover, then maybe this time you're doing the skull crusher. That's okay. So level 1 is extend your left leg out and bring it in. Level 2, your right leg is up in tabletop. And compress that low back down into the earth. Triceps are working, core is working. 10 seconds to hold. Start to think about where your maximum workload is and hold it there. So in the skull crusher, I've got my elbows maybe about 90. Now this extended leg can be low, it can be medium, it can be high. If that's bothering your low back, you can hold it up a little higher. Compress the low back down. Engage the transverse abdominis. Keep breathing through this. 15 seconds to hold. Are you with me? Say yes. Whew. Almost there. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the feet down, the arms down. Great job. Release the weight. And let's do our figure 4 stretch. So left knee comes up. We cross the ankle over the right thigh. Maybe this is enough stretch right here. That's okay. Or bring the legs up any amount and we'll hold. And let's focus on your breathing here. So start to take some deeper inhalations and maybe even sigh as you exhale. Just kind of starting to bring everything down. And then we are going to do a plank for our final exercise. And I want you to think about while you're stretching how you want to do your plank. So maybe you need to come up and put your hands on a wall. So if you need to do that, go ahead and start moving yourself up off the mat, or if you want to use your chair for a plank. And then let's get ready to get in position. So you can use the wall, stepping your feet away. You can use your chair with your hands on top. If you're down on the mat, you can do your plank from the knees, the toes, the elbows, or the wrists. Okay, so we have no movement in our plank. We're just going to hold 45 seconds. So I'm going to give you about 10 more seconds to start. And you guys might remember in my classes before that hands and knees is a plank. So if you're starting right here, that's okay to hold 45 seconds, hands and knees. Okay, ready? In 3, 2, and go. So mostly we're thinking about where our core is, from our tailbone, through the shoulder blades, through the back of the head, and all of that should be in a nice straight line. Also, the hips should be pretty much in a straight line, so this would not be a plank with your hips up. Good job. Elbows is fine. You have 15 seconds. Scoop up your abs. Keep breathing. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and relax. So if you're on your hands or elbows, you can bring your knees down and do a little child's pose. If you're up against the wall, you can just extend through the upper body, take a stretch there through your shoulders, same thing on the chair. And then we are going to be stretching our hamstrings. And I want you to find the way that works best for you. You can be in a kneeling lunge. So this would be one example to stretch your hamstring. I'm not going to pick that because when I get to the other side, I won't be able to bear weight on my knee. You can roll over onto your back and lift one leg up in the air. Or I'm going to stretch actually using my chair today. So you can stand up and use your chair as an option. So we are going to do 2 45-minute stretches, and your goal is to contract the quadricep or the front of the thigh on the leg you're stretching the hamstring. So come into your stretch. Try to extend your leg fully straight if you can. Tighten this muscle. So what it's going to do is relax your hamstring and then fold over that leg as much as you can for 45 seconds. Now, if contracting the quad isn't working for you, don't worry about it. It's just an extra little technique that we can use to help us find a little bit more range of motion. Good job. Keep breathing. Maybe through that 45 seconds, you can start to sink a little lower. Job. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a break, but we're going to do the same side again. So all I want you to do is just relax the stretch. Take a breath. And fold again. 45 seconds. There's something about taking a break on a stretch that sends a little muscle to your brain and says, oh, that wasn't so bad. I can do that again. And that muscle oftentimes will relax a little bit more for you the second time we give it a go. "15 seconds. One more breath. And then come up out of that hamstring stretch. I'm going to give you time to switch in case you're on your knees and you're doing the kneeling stretch. So give yourself time to switch legs. If you're on your back, maybe you're using a yoga strap to help you with that. And then on the chair, the leg comes up. Make sure your hips are squared. Inhale to prepare and fold. First 45-second hold. Now when you stretch, I want you to say, oh, this feels nice. Not, oh, this just feels horrible. I don't like doing this stretch. I want you to find a place in your stretch where you say, this feels nice. And it's your concept of what nice is. It's not like, I don't know, having ice cream nice. It's a different kind of nice. Okay, one more breath. And then come up. We'll be relaxing just momentarily. Oh, I forgot to cue you to tighten your quad. Maybe you remembered that and I didn't cue it. So tighten up that quad. Inhale, prepare, and fold down. 45 seconds. Now what you're doing with your ankle affects this whole stretch here. So if it's too tight for you, have your foot point flexed up, point it down. That's going to be a little bit easier on this whole posterior chain. It's going to lessen the intensity of the calf stretch that you're experiencing. And we have 15 seconds. Last breath in.